So, Ruben, Malachi, aka Chief, has
AKA.
aspirations,
Okay.
Big aspirations.
big aspirations. So I thought this was a good opportunity for him to learn from the master
I'm not a master.
how one goes about making the jump from playing college volleyball in the United States to maybe playing somewhere over in Europe or wherever. Could be Puerto Rico, could be Argentina. Sometimes that can happen as well. And I figure you coached in Spain and Denmark and Finland and England and now Hungary. I figure you know a little bit about this, and you've coached many American boys.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I've been working with some Americans. Yeah. And I will ask you one. Is it Chi, Malachi, Mr. Jackson, or how would you like me to call you?
My name is officially Malachi, but you can call me
Malachi.
Chi. Yeah.
Chi. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go on Chi.
All
Very
right,
good.
let's go with that.
My name is Ruben. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ruben.
What are you studying?
Right now, coach got me at outside.
Did you ask
play as an
studying?
outsider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, for this year, we need him to be an outside, unless
Okay.
we get another body and he can go back to playing on the right.
Okay. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". Good.
Can you translate
first-
that into centimeters, Ruben? Is that okay? You're
Yeah,
good with?
yeah.
Okay.
It's 190,
Okay.
188, 190.
Mhm.
And do you remember your vert?
No, I do not, honestly. I never really got an official vertical.
Yeah, we haven't done any testing like that.
Okay. But it's very easy to settle down. Just a mark with a chalk on the
Or-
wall and that's it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe in practice today you can touch the antenna. You can see how high you
Yeah.
can touch on the antenna.
Right.
Well, yes. Yes. But well, I think that playing in Europe as a college player, it is not so difficult, I would say. Of course, you need to show some interesting level, but I assume that you can jump. I would fully recommend you to try to master your left side as a player, because normally when I was coaching at the Bundesliga, for example,
Mhm.
normally I see beside the technical or the skills as a package, I pay attention a lot at the physical package.
Right.
Because how much the players reach, how is the stand reach, because sometimes it's, I would say international volleyball, it's pretty much different than college volleyball. The game is a lot faster. I mean, in professional level, it's a lot faster. You play with senior players all the time that sometimes they are not very good players, but they know the game.
Right.
So they've been playing for many, many years. And this sometimes makes kind of difference, because even though we know it's a error sport,
Mhm.
you know, when you play abroad, it's
Right.
different at the college, you know. And then, yeah. And money-wise, perhaps is not to become rich. I'm sure that you will help yourself to pay back I don't know if it's exactly like I would say, but normally students in USA, you get a loan to make the studies and so on. And sometimes playing abroad helps you to pay back this credit, let's say.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And this is also kind of experience.
Yes, for sure. I'm definitely not playing to like get rich off of volleyball. Like I love the sport of volleyball. Like I'm like dying to go overseas and learn the game more and get like better and better as time goes.
Mhm. Yeah. That's one thing that sometimes I will tell you my personal experience. Sometimes with the American players, I'm very defensive, I would say, because there are players who have big potential, which are coming. I normally had players always from level one, from NCAA level one, from, I would say, pretty big universities, Penn State, Stanford, UCLA. Graham was from,
Was he Ohio State?
no, he was from
No.
Indiana.
One of the Chicago schools, right? Loyola or
No, he
Louis-
was in Indiana at the father of Louis Ball.
Right. I think it was IUPUI or
Yeah, something like that.
or Ball State or one of those two.
Ball
Right.
State. He
Good.
was from Ball State. So players from certain level, and sometimes those players are coming to Europe just to experience a little bit the world, and they don't give a shit about how serious we are talking about professional volleyball.
Ruben, I'm gonna have to bleep that.
Sorry?
I'm gonna have to bleep that out of the recording. You and your language.
I'm sorry. I thought it is more like a familiar conversation. Because sometimes, and with this, I'm not going to be like a messiah, but when I give an opportunity to players to come to our team, I'm risking the food of my kids somehow, you know? And then if a player comes to see the world, is risking the results of the team, and at the end of the day, is risking my job.
No, for sure.
It's different than in USA, that sometimes the university you are making from the first to the fourth year, and then you are gone, you know? And this is also kind of somehow a responsibility the players should address when you embark yourself in such a trip, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Ruben, why don't you talk about kind of the way the levels of play work in Europe? So what a progression could be for an American player, especially one who's not coming from one of the big Division I schools.
Yeah.
How they might come in and progress.
Yeah, I would say that some of the best countries to go for are the Nordic countries. Because one interesting thing, I don't know exactly how is it right now, but one thing that the Nordic countries help a lot is that sometimes you can make masters or PhDs for free by playing volleyball or by playing a sport. I remember the first guy I had from USA was a guy from Hawaii, middle blocker. He went to make an MBA in a Master Business Administration, and he's working for the International Monetary Fund in Hong Kong since that time, almost 17 years. And he did this MBA for free in a very good economical school in Europe. So he got a fantastic degree for free.
Right. For free, yeah.
By playing volleyball. And this means a lot more than playing professional sometimes. And then, for example, playing in Norway, playing in Denmark, playing in Sweden, it can give you this opportunity. Normally those leagues don't have restriction about the foreign players. Those countries are very American friendly countries, so you don't need very many special things to get the student visa,
Yeah.
and you will get for sure accommodation, sometimes a little bit help for food, and sometimes some little money, about, I don't know, maybe $700
Right.
or $800 or something like that.
Mhm.
So you manage yourself, let's say, to survive and to play a decent level. Once you prove that you can make it there are coming the Rubens, who are looking at players all over Europe for, let's say, opportunities.
Right.
And then you make yourself. Because, and please ask questions when you have some, because otherwise I speak and sometimes I go anywhere.
Right. Got you.
But for example, and it's a completely different pathway, the guys who are at the USA gym, I mean, this such a group of 20 players, you know, because sometimes they are coming, some big agencies of players, mainly located in Poland or in Italy, and they start to look these guys or for these guys when they are in the third, fourth year of the university.
Okay.
Yeah, because for example, now I know the opposite from Brigham Young. It's a boy Fernandez from Puerto Rico, because I have friends who are sending me contacts and sending
Right.
me videos. But for example, for this guy, even if I would be in Germany, maybe this guy is not coming to my team anymore, because he has already certain level that he can go maybe to a higher level league. But for the Division 2, the Division 3, I would fully suggest the entry, the Nordic countries. Yeah.
So,
Um,
all right, just one quick clarification, at least on Sweden. I don't know about Norway. Sweden allows 3 foreigners in the squad.
Okay. Yeah.
Denmark, as far as I'm aware, at least when I was there, they didn't have any limits.
Yeah.
So it's relatively easy to get in there. Now, how does Austria, Switzerland, for example, how do they compare as kind of are they the next tier?
Yeah, the level in Austria or in Switzerland, it's a little bit higher, but they are also a little bit more, or they are more picky at the moment they choose players.
Right.
Because the level is not much higher. And sometimes there are clubs that, let's say the league, perhaps the level is a little bit better, but the clubs are not very well organized.
Okay, gotcha.
And sometimes I would say Switzerland can be okay, but it's unbelievably expensive. You know, I don't know how is it in USA, but maybe a coffee is $5 for a coffee. And then, of course, having your normal meal, it would be expensive.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes people get confused. Say, oh, we will pay you, I don't know, $1,500. And then you think, oh, it's decent. And it's not decent at all. Then you are running after. Yeah. I think Austria also, it's kind of same level like Switzerland, but also I really don't know how would be the management to get to there, because sometimes the clubs, for in the case of Switzerland, there are many players from the European countries that they want to go there. All players from Poland, all players from all the Eastern countries, the former communist countries. That the life quality is not so high, and Switzerland it's really high. So then sometimes they mix with a job and so on, then they stay there forever. Yeah.
Okay. So is it harder for a D3 like college student to get into like an international team, or like, you know, or like it's like the same type of?
No, I would say if you somehow are lucky and if you get some good videos, some people who can push you, then it would be all right. I need to see you. And then I can tell you with my hand at my heart, I will tell you where should you start, let's say.
Okay.
But always people who want to play, I would fully encourage to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
In general terms, Ruben,
Yeah.
for somebody like Chi, thinking, because you said think outside hitter, because at 190, he's probably on the small side for an opposite at the professional level. What are the skill priorities that teams are going to be looking for?
I think with your size, I don't know how much you jump. Is he jumping high, John?
He jumps well. Yeah.
Yeah. And normally if he plays as an outside hitter, will he play close or away from the setter?
We're working on that.
Okay. Because, then it also depends on the level of the league and so, but if you are more attacker than a receiver, sometimes it can be that you go by or away from the setter. But I think it's important to be a decent receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that with the float, you should be able to manage with
Right.
overhead, with the jump service, able to keep the ball, and then if you are a good attacker. Because at the end of the day, we win or we lose by attacking and serving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Right.
a little bit raw, let's say. I'm a little bit square mind.
Mm-hmm.
We need to slam this damn ball and that's it.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Especially when you have the possibility to get physical players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the skill priority, I would say, should be the reception, of course, as an outside hitter, but attacking and serving also, it's very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understandable.
And then depends which is the team you go, how lucky you are to get a good organization, a good club, and so on. And to be a good guy, you need to work good. You need to be, sometimes you will hear things that you don't like. But when you understand that this also depends on your success, you will struggle until the things are getting better,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So this is not the biggest point.
Now,
Mhm.
Ruben, most guys use an agent, right, to get placed in Europe.
Yes. There are many players getting agents. To be honest, normally with players, I would say from, as you said, D3, D2, I would start perhaps connecting through your coach, through friends, let's say, to offer yourself to the clubs. Because, for example, in the Nordic countries, I don't know how is your experience with the ladies team, John, but I think the clubs are not eager to pay for an agent to get the foreign players. Most of the times the players are going there without agents, but I don't know exactly.
I mean, in our case, I think most of it came through an agent for the foreign
Really?
players. Yeah.
But which agency? Was it Bring It USA?
I don't know, because players got passed to me through the manager. So I didn't actually have any contact with the agent side of things.
And do you remember the name of the agent?
Well, I didn't see that stuff. That was all the manager who just said, okay, here's a list of players, take a look and let me know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Because also, for example, women volleyball in USA, it's a big business. And then there are a lot of guys working on this. Oh, she got upset.
Blackout. But you can carry on your thought because we're still recording this.
Yeah.
So you're saying women, a lot of women getting recruited.
Yeah, the thing is that the players production from USA in women's side is massive,
Yeah.
and there are 2-3 groups. I know one especially which was Bring It USA. They were organizing tours, so players pay for the agency to come to Europe. They did a tour, they showed themselves, and it was a kind of market. Like they did an open market to show themselves to the clubs.
Right. Yeah.
But actually,
he's coming back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the agency was doing a double business because they were charging the players to get to Europe, and after charging the clubs to pay for them. So
Right. Yeah. Not doing too much of that right now though with COVID.
no, perhaps
But I'm
not.
sure it'll come back.
Yeah. But and also this year, I know that getting to Europe for, let's say, the normal players was not so easy.
Right. Yeah, they weren't letting Americans come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were many teams having problems to pay to the players, sending players back in the middle of the season. So this season is particularly strange, but I think everything indicates that next season will be better.
All right, well, on that, Ruben, just talk a little bit about the risks, because you kind of talked about getting let go midway through the season. You kind of talked about maybe the clubs in certain places not being as well run as other things. And I remember when I went to coach in Sweden, you were, you advocated for it because you felt like the Nordic Scandinavian leagues are organizationally pretty sound. You get through a season, there's not a lot of risk that you're not going to get paid, all that sort of stuff, which does definitely come up in other places.
Yeah, I think that as a player also, normally those places are, I would say, less risky than some other ones, because they know the players are coming from certain level. The level itself is not very demanding that that you are on the risk of do or die every time. So I think this is also, especially for newcomers, I think it's a good place. And there are plenty of examples. I know there are clubs bringing every time in Sweden 3-4 Canadian players, in Denmark the same, Canadian or American players, Australian players, as a bunch. They took 2 or 3 all together, 2 or 3 all together. So then it's a matter of a little bit of contacts, a little bit of luck. That, sometimes you see something on the players and then you somehow bet for them.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I don't know the point of the need of each team, because sometimes the teams needs certain players and sometimes they are not also very organized, or they are not very lucky to find players. So it's a kind of I don't know, like putting the balls together, let's say. But it's a lot about how many contacts your coach can help you. I think John in this case can help you and start knocking. You have to knock knocking doors, and then sooner than later will be some doors which are going to open. Yeah.
Okay.
Ruben, talk about how, especially at that level, there can be additional demands.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in Sweden, the girls that we brought in from the States had coaching duties.
Mm. Did you get to know Jordan, the British guy who was sometimes coming to Germany to practice with us?
No, I don't think we overlapped.
Okay, because I would say he's a guy from, I would say, not a really high level, and he ended up playing in Sweden, for example. He was very committed, hard worker, a disciplined guy, and sooner than later he found the team. So it depends. It's difficult to identify this, you know, because, for example, a few days ago I was talking with Daniel about De Falco. How is TJ De Falco?
Yeah, and that's for those listening, that's Daniel Castellani, legendary coach.
I know exactly what that is.
But this boy De Falco is one of the, let's say, new stars coming to the USA national team, somehow like that. And of course, for those type of players, it's not so difficult to find teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes the agents are working with these players easy than they will work with you or me, you know. My friend Daniel Castellani, who is a legend as a coach, the agents are calling him. For me, nobody calls me to offer me clubs. I have to also knock the door, talk with somebody, talk with another body, and keep the contacts alive. So in this case, there are a lot of opportunities. There are many different levels. It depends how good you can show yourself.
All right.
And then it's a matter of consistency once you get the first chance.
Okay.
I think it's somehow different sometimes with the coaching, but I did also some bet, because when I was coming to Europe the very first time, I downgrade myself 2 leagues. I started in a very low level in Spain, thinking that the level would be like in Argentina, and the level was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And from a fully professional team I was coaching in Argentina, suddenly I end up in a team which was training before I arrived 4 times a week. And then I organized to start every day, sometimes twice a day, and more professional. And in 2 years, from 3rd division in Spain, we finished at the highest level, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was always confident on myself. So then it's also something that I
I'm
know
definitely confident in myself, 110%.
Yeah. So then you need to concentrate to make a good season this season, that you can get better as much as possible as an outside hitter, and then start, I would say, April, May, to knock doors. Even though now you can start, as soon as you have a couple of games, I would say you should start asking, contacting teams and so on.
Well, he's got two more years to graduation, right?
Oh, okay.
So, and actually, he's got 4 more years of eligibility because he hasn't used any yet.
Yeah.
So you were born, when you were born?
I was born in 2001.
2001. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sophomore here this year, Ruben. Second year.
The advantage you may have is you have one advantage and one disadvantage. The advantage is that when you come to Europe, you are already, or you have already completed your education, you know? And then if your volleyball career doesn't go further, you don't have to worry what to do when you return to USA. Kids here, sometimes they get to somehow professional structures earlier, but then the players they commit themselves to kind of professional level that sometimes doesn't allow them to fully study. And then they delay the education a little bit. Sometimes they never finish the education. So this is also kind of disadvantage that the players here have, you know, and you will come with certain maturity that when you come to Europe, you will know what you want. You already have the education, and then you can, let's say, see the world a little bit.